Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT Americas Stage 1 for Week 3. My guest at this time is Mike's, the head coach of NRG, coming off of their match against G2, where they came out on the losing end, thus continuing their run in said competition. So, Mike's, thank you so much for the opportunity for this quick conversation. I mean, there's no better way to kind of describe what happened with this match other than it was pretty tough way to go down. And so, gotta ask you the obvious opening question. How are you feeling? What's going through your mind?
Um, doing the best I can after a loss like that. I mean, think overall, anytime you lose any series or maps like that in the fashion that we did, it's never really just one thing. It's kind of a collapse of like everything in your game, which is something that we haven't really seen before. So that's going to be something that I'm going to have to look at a lot to see what all the details were that went around or went wrong per round.
I mean, I was going to ask you about that kind of thing. You know, the issues, because it kind of felt like not it wasn't just one thing that kind of went wrong for the team today, but more so just basically everything. Right? It just kind of feels like that for you after this match, right?
Yeah, I mean, start with Lotus, our general like map controls didn't really go the way that we normally did them. They G2 did a good job, obviously, with their entire game plan, and the way they were playing the map. But it felt like we were kind of in mud the entire time with our decision making. Post plans were an issue. Obviously, like if you can't win any pistol rounds or like convert a anti bonus round as well, that's gonna drastically hurt you. So but like every step of the way, at some point, we just made like the wrong decision when we needed to.
hmm Yeah, and of course, this kind of thing stacks up on top of each other each occasion, and it kind of then leads to a result like this. Obviously not the ideal way to see out of your team, but nevertheless, one can only do but move forward from this and learn. And so, still gotta focus onto the series itself. Lotus, I do understand the sense that you guys had a little bit of confidence regarding the pick of that map, while knowing full well that G2, in its own right, was pretty good also in that map. But gotta ask you as the coach, what led to you guys making the decision to go for Lotus? With that in mind regarding G2's past successes in that map.
Yeah, so obviously we've played it in every series VCT so far, so it's a map that we're very comfortable on, combined with the fact that obviously they are very successful, but they also have a lot of footage out there compared to every other team. So we felt like between those two factors of us getting to watch a lot of their game, and then obviously we changed our comp a bit as well, that it'd be a good combination with the game plan that we had going in. But obviously that wasn't reality.
And I mean, what did you kind of say to the team following that match, that map? Given that 13 was not really a result that anyone would want, and just trying to move on, just focus on to Ascent.
Yeah, obviously there was things that we took away that we kind of messed up as universal things. It's very easy to post loss, like pick apart rounds where someone did something they shouldn't, or we should react in a different way, but it's more carrying over like the universal things that we thought would help us on the next map. So we mostly focused on that, and then just our game plan for Ascend in general, just to make sure we're moving on, but also taking note of things that needed to change.
Obviously, we saw a little bit of a stronger showing from NRG in uh, Ascent, and still, while you at the end of the day, you guys lost in that match. What do you feel has been the biggest? What do you feel is the biggest takeaway that you can take out of this match immediately after this result that you can kind of like look at and build on for next few weeks in this regular season?
I think there's overall things, and then there's like map-specific things we'll look at. It's kind of hard, again, like I said, when you lose in this fashion, because usually it's a failure of not only strategy, but like comms and decision making as well. It's never just one thing, I think, rarely, at least in my experience. So it's going to be like a multitude of things that we're going to have to look at to try to adjust going forward versus MIBR.
So far, since your arrival into the NRG squad, the team is currently 1-2. But I do understand in the sense that you had to move in from you move into the team after kickoff with like relatively little time to kind of tweak things and refine things to be at a pretty decent level starting off in this stage. But how have you seen the progress of the NRG team as a whole, and having to um, buy, or not really buy in, but more so bring in to your mode of coaching, your style that you want the guys to play?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit different because I think different teams, depending on like your group of players, are good at different things. So you kind of have to be adaptable as a coach. I don't think you can really do a system where it's like everyone is going to play the game my way kind of thing in Valorant. Obviously, there's generic fundamentals and concepts that I'll take from team to team, but really trying to understand like what this team in particular is good at. And I think we have found that. It's just more surprising today that we lost in the fashion we did, because it's not something you ever think you're really capable of. You never think about losing in that fashion. But I definitely know what our high end is like. I think the C9 loss in particular, talking about us starting 1-2, the C9 loss overall was like a net benefit for us in terms of like how much we learned from that match. And I think it really elevated our level, whereas maybe if we closed out that map 3 versus them, maybe we wouldn't have changed as much as we did. But I think our week-to-week progress, it always feels like our team is getting better. Obviously, this is a setback as well, but it's just something that we're going to have to deal with now that's happened.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And yeah, like most definitely looking over into like the future of this team, and just having to move on from this result, because of course, at the end of the day, this is kind of like a result that you guys would want to forget, but obviously, such is the hand that you're dealt. As you guys now move on to your next few weeks in this regular season, and you guys, and as you have the chance to talk to the team much more closely, what do you feel the team has to emphasize the most when it comes to building off of today?
I think mostly just framing in the most obviously you can't do an absolutely positive mindset when you lose in this fashion, but I think trying to reframe things in whichever way you can. Like for example, 2023 EG got 13-0'd earlier in the year, and then they went on to win champ. So your last loss, no matter how bad it is only as bad as you make it out to be. And as long as we're taking away the things that we feel like went wrong the most today, I don't have any trouble imagining us doing well in playoffs and even making Masters. So it's all just what we make out of it. And I think our group is very good, even after the C9 loss, about kind of regrouping and being on top of what we need to work on for the next week to improve.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I want to ask you when it comes to your arrival into the NRG squad is more so just focusing on how the dynamic has been in just trying to work with finesse and those that have already been in the NRG core prior to your arrival. How has that process been like? Just having to like get to know each other, get to understand how each side does things, and the like.
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of like trial and error when you first join. In terms of like, there's usually like a feeling each other out period where they like to do things a certain way and I like to do things a certain way. So we kind of have to figure out what is the best for everyone. Like I said, I think the great part for me is everyone is very vocal on this team. I don't really have to pry opinions out of people. So I think in my mind, you can never really have a team that competes at a very high level if it's only like just the coach or just the IDL giving all the ideas or making all the decisions. So I think that's a very good benefit for our team, is that everyone can be beneficial at any point, whether it's like a strat idea, a fundamental idea, maybe they notice something that no one else on the team has with our game plan. So I think that's really great with our team. It's just we have between Strong, the assistant coach, myself, and then all the players, we have like 7 people together that can make very good ideas and make like progress all the time, because people are pointing out on like what stuff we can improve. So definitely think there's a little bit of a period when we first started where I had to figure out like how they think about the game. They have to get used to how I think about the game, but I think having all those opinions is always very good.
I think the main message that I feel you're trying to relay to, you know, the viewers that are going to be looking at this video and taking like a glance as to what NRG is doing is patience. You know, do you feel like that's the kind of main message?
Maybe not so much patience, because I think with the VCT format, you're kind of not even pressured. You kind of just have to win as fast as possible, because if you let the weeks go by and you don't practice well and you don't put enough emphasis on things, you just run out of time and run out of games to win. So obviously we understand the spot that we're in. With the next two are kind of must-win scenarios now. But obviously, when teams are new, even though we've only changed one player and then myself, obviously, some of these losses are just easier than others to take away stuff from and like snowball off of. So I think that's the main thing on us, is we just need to make sure we take away what happened in this game, what the main points were that went wrong, and make sure it just never happens again. Because we felt like we did that after the C9 game, and it was very beneficial for us, even though we lost. So I think that's just the main thing, is utilizing our time well as quickly as possible, but also making sure we get the main points right.
Yeah, because of course, you know, after that C9 loss, you guys will go on to win the next weekend. Of course, you know, in a similar fashion. Hopefully, you guys can continue this kind of pattern for the better in the next ensuing weeks also. So, Mike, thank you so much for the opportunity for doing this interview once again. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, providing all the insight and all of that stuff. And of course, best of luck goes to you for the road ahead.
Yep. Thank you.